I have a website, aztcs.apcug.org. Click on the meeting notes button. If you click on the meeting notes button there, I'll show you what you get. You get, up here is the meeting notes. I want to make it a little bigger if I can. If you click on meeting notes up here, big old button, you can end up at all of today's presentation slides. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm going to summarize a lot of it. Okay, so let's start off. I'm going to give you one sentence summaries of all of these 200 slides. First, look at Windows 11. Okay, Microsoft is going to try to push you into Windows 11. It's going to flash all kinds of notices on any Windows 10 computer. When you go to update inside settings, it's going to tell you whether or not you're capable of running Windows 11 based on their opinion. Okay.
Now, if you're
second of all over the news, both on the technical news and at CNN.com or Fox News, people have been talking about Windows 11 and all the great new things they've added to it. And I thoroughly agree with everything people have said. Okay. Now, so what we're going to do now is go real fast through the basics. You probably have already seen this in the news or other places. Windows 11 came out for the public October 5th. It was pretty awful at the time. Okay. Microsoft has decided to give it more stringent hardware requirements than 7 or 8 or XP. So that to dangle that in front of you, they're going to kill off Windows 10. Most of you know that sometime in 2025, right? So the other thing is, many of the things that they're telling you are so great about Windows 11 aren't in it yet, will arrive sometime next year. They're not telling that to you because they want to get you going on Windows 11. Okay, so keep that in mind. So you've got to be careful what you read about Windows 11. If you read something, that person may be running a future version called a Windows Insider preview and telling you about how great it is, and you can't get to it unless you jump through some hoops and become a Windows Insider beta tester. So keep that in mind. Okay. October 14th, 2025, they're going to stop supporting Windows 10. Okay, that gives you a couple of years. So one of the best things people are doing is just hanging on to what they have, but it isn't too popular of a choice, probably because of advertising and other things that people are being hit by, right? All right. 2 ways to check if Microsoft can officially help you install or upgrade to Windows 11. One is called the PC Health Check. Note that tricky name for that piece of software. In the past, they would call it Windows 10 or Windows 7 compatibility checker. Now they're just going to tell you your PC is unhealthy if you can't install Windows 11 their way. Okay. But their PC health check only runs in Windows 10 computers. It runs also in Windows 11 computers, but why would you want to run it if you're already running Windows 11, right? So it basically is an app for running inside Windows 10 to decide whether or not your computer is healthy. Okay. If you don't want to go through Microsoft's opinions of things, go here to a piece of software called Why Not Win 11. And I tell you how to get to it through here. I'm not going to go through the details. You have to go to this website and you have to scroll down, and then you have to right click or left click on Why Not Win 11.exe, download it, install it. Okay. Now, what else can I tell you about? some hardware requirements and idiosyncrasies. Okay. If you run the Windows PC Health Check, Windows PC Health Check, also known as the PC Health Check, which is confusing because Microsoft has several pieces of software called PC Health Check. So be careful, okay? Go to the one that says Windows 11. And your computer, Microsoft would declare whether or not you can run Windows 11, either as an upgrade or as but you can't run it as this piece of software inside a blank computer, right? Okay. Okay, now I'm going to go over some real fast points of information. About 6-7 years ago, manufacturers of computers and motherboards started putting in something called a trusted platform module. At first, it was version 1, then 1.1, and now 2.0. They got the heads up from Microsoft that would soon become a requirement to run Windows way back in 7 years ago. So people started putting this into their computers. Okay. Now, at the same time, in 2015, Microsoft told all the motherboard and computer manufacturers they had to put in something called secure boot. That's part of the UEFI, formerly called the BIOS. Okay. So let's see. What else happened? I think that's much for that one. Okay, now, if you don't have all this stuff going, you will not be allowed to upgrade from Microsoft's standpoint to Windows 11. Okay.
So
Sir?
to put Windows 10, 11 on there, you have to have secure boot has to be enabled, or?
That's just it. In order to have it, secure boot has to be present. Here's the funny thing is, it doesn't have to be enabled.
Oh, okay.
Now that's for you and me. To get a computer certified by Microsoft so that you have the right to put the Windows 11 or 10 or 8 symbol on your advertising and on the box, you have to have it enabled. But you're not a manufacturer, neither am I. And a lot of manufacturers ignored that. See? But if you want to put the logo on there, you don't want to incur the wrath of Microsoft's lawyers, you have to have it enabled. About a quarter of the manufacturers haven't bothered to enable it because they figured Microsoft won't come after them. See what's happening? So let me show you something real quick. You won't believe this. I'm just going to pick something. This is a computer that I created using something called a virtual machine system. And it totally violates every single rule for installing Windows 11. But because I know hacks, you'll notice that Windows 11 is running in it. This computer is so terrible, I wouldn't even wish it on you. It has two processor cores, actually 2 threads, 1 processor core. In other words, it's pretty wimpy, right? It's got 2 gigs of RAM. Microsoft says you have to have at least 4 for Windows 11.
Oh, really?
So what else does it say? It's got a hard drive, a SSD running with 40, about 40 gigabytes. It's pretty wimpy, right? And you notice I put Windows 11 into it. If you use some of these hacks to put Windows 11 into it, you're going to suffer some consequences. First of all, for starts, this computer is always going to be extremely slow, right? With 2 gigs of RAM and 2 threads in 1 core. This is pretty bad, but it's still able to run Windows 11. So then you have to decide whether or not you want to suffer the consequences of having such a terribly incompetent computer, right? So I'm going to power off this thing, this terrible monstrosity, which I built just for showing you that you can install Windows 11 in just about anything. Now, what else are we going to do next? Next, I'm going to get out of this one. And I know I'm probably going to jump real quickly into this. Version history. Microsoft has something called a version. It's a secret code. To see the version of your computer, part of it, the part that's important, you can right click and run WinVer. Okay, WinVer. And you'll get, I don't know if you can see it, the last two characters in the version. The last two characters, the build and the universal update build revision number, 22000 and 348. Okay. So those are, what's happening is if you see that version number and you find it somewhere else from a Microsoft website, you'll know that you have the version that's important to you. And what happened is in June 15th, Microsoft was, somebody who probably no longer works at Microsoft leaked version 10.0.21996.1. Very, very, very early version of Windows 11. Okay. That at that time, that person placed it all over the internet, and people like me grabbed it and started using it, and it was pretty bad. That was a very early. That's the earliest version of Windows 11. Okay. By June 28, Microsoft released 10.0.22000.51. So that meant they had gone to 51 new versions. Since Microsoft issues a new update version number, that last number, what does that tell you about how early this other one was? A lot earlier, right? So then on in August sometime, unknown date, because I don't have any friends amongst computer manufacturers, Microsoft released 10.0.22000.194. Now, what do you think happened when that got released to every manufacturer of computers that's a Microsoft partner in the world? That started getting put into computers because it takes them a while to ship them on boats, mainly from China, Taiwan, and Japan to here, especially with the problems at the harbor now. They knew that there was going to be problems. So immediately, sometime in August, they started putting this version into computers. Okay. Now, what happened is Microsoft did not give this version to their beta testers until September 23. See, they wanted to give the manufacturers a head start on all this. And what version do you think arrived when you went into that store to buy a copy of Windows 11 in a brand new computer on October 4th? The same one that they released in August sometime showed up because that's what people found in it. To get the exact version number, you can run WinVer or the command CMD inside a command prompt or a PowerSoft window. Okay, so the version you see right now was actually stabilized in middle August in computers. Now, once you buy a computer, what are you going to do with it? Microsoft's going to update it for you and fix a lot of the problems in it. So don't panic if you see this version in a computer in the store. The salespeople are not authorized or allowed to update a computer. So you're going to get a pretty bad computer if you go out Christmas shopping and you find version 22000.194. Relax. We all had to deal with that version. Just run Windows Update, and they'll probably force you to do it anyway as soon as you fire up that computer. Okay? One thing I want to warn you about, that's another thing, is there's a new microphone icon in Windows 11. If you look down here at the bottom of my screen, you'll see that little microphone icon there. Don't use it. It'll get you in a lot of trouble. If you want to mute your microphone instead of turn it off permanently, go into your meeting controls in Zoom and do it from there. Okay, in the control bar, this unmute button up here that you can't see because they hide things from you. Okay. All right. New Windows logo. All right. Lots of talk about that. On the upper left-hand corner, Windows 10. The lower right-hand corner, Windows 11. You see the difference? So when you walk up to someone's computer, if you see the one on the right, they have been lucky enough to upgrade to Windows 11. If you still see that slanted monstrosity, you're looking at Windows 10. Now, the other joke I've heard on the internet, which is the people are saying Windows has come full circle. Look at Windows 1 and 2 up in the upright left-hand corner. Look at the symbol there. Look at the Windows 11 symbol on the lower right-hand corner. You'll notice that plus the joke is that Microsoft's employees applied an iron to get all the wrinkles and bends out of the logo. That's the other joke that they've been telling on the internet. Okay. So what else did I tell you about? Rounded corners. All Windows with dialog boxes and Windows inside Windows 11 have rounded corners. And a lot of people like that. I didn't even notice. I was so busy trying to get stuff done for people when I first started running Windows 11. But some people, that's a big deal. Okay, there's a new start menu on all Windows in the start menu. Okay, 3 new color schemes. I like them. Acrylic, mica, and smoke. Okay, and I'll go real quickly into them just for laughs. Whoops, what happened? I'm going to click on it and try to go to it. The Microsoft's official explanation of acrylic, mica, and smoke. Okay. Acrylic, they're semi-transparent and use of very, very subtle pastel colors behind things to make you think you're looking through frosted glass. That's called their acrylic color scheme. Mica, that is, what is that? Opaque material that they put behind things to help you concentrate on what the heck you're doing very subtly. Okay, smoke, that is the use of lighter shades of gray behind things usually to help you concentrate on what you're doing. It looks great to me, okay? That's just my opinion. And a lot of people have noticed that. The other comment is it's more Mac-like if you have spent your money $2 or $3 grand buying a Mac, okay? I personally feel that it's even better color-wise than the Macs, okay? That's bad, and I run both Macs, Linux, and Windows. Okay, the other thing is, I'm not going to go into too many details, is Windows has something called prioritizing apps. Very hard to speak from somebody who speaks other languages. It prioritizes foreground apps to give you the impression that it's running faster. The way I explain it is, I'm running a PowerPoint presentation. In the past, to start another one in the middle of one, it took me 10 seconds. Now it takes me 3. Okay. Now both of them are running after 3 seconds. So it seems faster. Nobody says it's really faster, but it gives the things that you're doing and that the human being that's using the computer is wanting to get going. It makes those things run faster. That's called foreground activities. Okay. No, what am I doing wrong to where I can't make it? Okay. References. Okay. Microsoft explains all this foregrounding and all the things they've done to make it seem faster. It's not really faster. Okay. Based on all the tests that people have run. But if they can make you happier, they're way ahead. And I'm happy with that. Okay. No, taskbar is no longer centered, right? It used to be centered and go all the way across your screen. Now it's shrunk down a little bit to make it easier for people to see the start button, especially older people like me. Now the other thing is two more things I wanted to show you in Windows. Let me see if I can get it smaller. Okay. What else can I tell you about? Okay, you're seeing my screen. Hopefully you're not seeing all the junk that's on it put on by Zoom. And the taskbar has been shrunk down. See how it is all the way across here? The parts of the taskbar that people use the most. And the other thing is if you click on the start button, you notice that you don't get the start menu anymore. That's a fallback to Windows 7, where there was an all programs button. To get the real start menu, you have to click on all apps. See the all apps? And then the other thing is, if you click on all apps, you'll notice that the tiles are gone. Good riddance. I hated them. Some people, if you have a life, you might enjoy looking at tiles and the ads they pop at you. I do not care for them. Where the tiles all go? Well, they're now in something called widgets. And I don't even know if I have it here. See this little icon down here called widgets? You click on it and you get all what look like the tiles filling up about half of your screen. Okay. So if you've got nothing else to do, you can sit there and watch the weather and watch the ads come at you, watch the stock market so you can panic and look at other things. You can add widgets to your heart's content. Okay. But I don't watch widgets, but if you want your computer to notify you to get you to panic when there's an earthquake, and you put weather in here so you can get a national weather service warning when a hurricane's come or a tornado's coming at you. So it might save your hide to have this up, right? In my case, if a hurricane comes, I'm a lost cause, okay? Then if you click on the same button, it goes away, right? So it takes up about half the screen. I don't know if you can make it any bigger. So the other thing that I liked, and I'll jump out of this in a quick second, is if you click on all apps and you get your regular start menu, they've simplified all the stuff that used to be called Windows this and that. Now it's on there's 3 or 4 Windows things. It's actually 2, Windows Ease of Access and Windows Security. And then, so it's much simpler now to deal with than having to figure out which of the Windows items you're looking for. Okay. Windows Security and Windows Tools is pretty much what everything's gone to now. Okay. So that's easier for me to find things now because of it. So any questions yet?
Yeah, I got one.
Sir?
Yeah, so the one thing I noticed is you can't minimize or make the taskbar use smaller, make the taskbar smaller like it used to in Windows 10.
Okay, that was one of my next things. If you go to a new, let me see if I can prove that to you. They don't put that in the menu anymore, but they instead provide a hack. So if you don't like editing the registry, you're out of luck. Okay, you can reshape the taskbar, but you have to do some edit registry hacks or put in a .reg file someone gives you. Okay, this hack here listed under Tom's Hardware, which is very useful of a site,
Right.
but tells you how to change the site, the taskbar back to normal. You're not going to like mine because my wife and I have some vision problems. We like it as big as possible. Okay, but most people are going to want the default. And if you don't want the default, you come, which is 0 for this registry hack.
Right.
You can adjust it upwards. So mine has been adjusted.
I did read that, so I looked on videos and stuff on that, but not an easy thing to do.
Relax. As far as I'm concerned, someone will figure out a hack that adjusts that registry item so you don't have to go into regedit anymore.
Right.
Someone just wait your month or two because
Oh, yeah.
many people hate it. okay, not being able to adjust it. I frankly can't see the regular size with my terrible vision. Neither can my spouse. Black screen of death. Okay, you've all heard of blue screens of death.
Yeah.
In Windows 11, it's now black. I don't know why they changed it. And then the other thing they've done, which is pretty useless, is they now provide you a QR code in the middle of the black screen of death for you to run your cell phone through some advice. And I'll be honest with you, I've tried it every time I've gotten a black screen of death. I've tried their QR code and I got a bunch of nonsense. So I don't have a lot of confidence in Microsoft's ability to help you fix a black screen of death. Okay. Usually I figure it out by going to other things like some
I don't
of
recall
the,
them fixing the blue screen of death very much.
none of us did.
Yeah.
I have never had a blue screen of death, and now a black screen of death tell me anything worth noticing. But what I do go is I go to Windows Event Manager and I look at what happened before the black screen of death occurred. So I want to try to find out whether or not the problem is a Windows problem or a hardware problem that way. So I go into some of these professional level event manager tools. That's always worked. Feature updates. Okay. In the Windows 10 world, you used to get a big monstrous update every year, sometime usually in November or October. Now they're bringing it down to every year in October or November, probably, but they won't disclose it anymore. They'll just throw it at you. Okay. Now, okay. The other thing is Windows 10, 11 and the later versions of Windows 10, the later two versions, last 2 years, will not let you bypass logging in somehow. So to do that, you now have to run auto log on, which is a Microsoft utility provided by Mark Rasinovich. Now you can still make Windows 11 log you in without forcing you to put in your PIN or a password. Okay, so keep that in mind. So you can't use the old ways of doing it. One way is called control user passwords 2. The other way was called netplwiz. They don't work anymore. Okay, creating a shortcut. It's very hard to make a shortcut to many of the items inside Windows 11. So go to a run box and type in shell : apps folder. Then you can do it. Okay. That's one of your options. Okay. That's that. Okay. Now I got to figure out how to get rid of this and move on. I'm trying to go through it as fast as possible so I can get to the real fun stuff. Okay. I may jump over this just for the heck of it and deprecate it. Microsoft's official list of items that they've deprecated, which means they are going to get rid of, is here. I'm not going to go over it with you today because I'm going to run out of time, and it's all over the internet. It's even published by Microsoft. Okay, so I'm not going to go into much of those details. Okay, I can provide a whole presentation about that if I need to. Now, resolving incompatibilities. I'm not going to go over that real fast to very, very long. Okay, Microsoft wants you to fix your computer by using their terms. And there are many things you can do. I'm going to go over them real fast, and we're going to jump to the next topic. Trusted platform module. If your computer is more than 3 years old, it probably had an off-board trusted platform module. If you put trusted platform module or TPM in Amazon or eBay right now, you'll get plastered with people willing to sell them to you. Add more RAM. If they think you're short on RAM, you can always upgrade and put more RAM in, either by using a technician or looking up the information on your motherboard and at the RAM sites like Crucial.com, right? Replace the system disk with a larger one. If you have a SSD or a small hard drive and they claim that you don't have enough, you can clone your existing one to it and then replace it. Now, then they'll finally be happier with you. Here's a tough one. If you deal with a real good tech, they can upgrade your processor by yanking it out, putting in some of that white goo, and sticking another on there. Okay, most of you probably wouldn't want to do that. It's a lot of work, and the processor probably costs as much as an entire motherboard now. Who knows? It's goofy. Replace the graphics adapter. If Windows claims you don't have a good enough graphics adapter, you can add one in, right? They make tons of different ones. The most of them fit into a PCIe slot. Okay, replace the entire motherboard. Well, that's about as good as rebuilding the whole computer for most people, right? Last but not least, there's 3 hacks you can use for forcing Windows 11 to install or to upgrade into your computer. Okay, so that is what I really want to tell you about, because very few people have found them all and put them all in one place like I have. Okay, so I'm going to jump out of this real quick and move on to the next subject, hopefully. Windows 11 purchase. This is sort of funny. This is my way of telling you that you can buy a new computer and get Windows 11, but it's even funnier than that. If you go to Amazon or Best Buy, right? You go to their website. Amazon.com. And this is sort of funny. You say Windows 11 computer, right? I want to buy Windows 11. Windows 11 computer. They'll start off by giving you some reasonable ones to look at, like this HP for 700, which is a nice computer. But if you keep going down, you eventually will find this very interesting computer that I don't recommend. And I don't recommend it for a whole lot of reasons. I'll show it to you. I might have to, they're becoming such a big deal that I'm going to have to sort by price, I guess. Let's see, featured by price. Let me get this out of the way. Low to high. There. Low to high. Oh, I'm real tight. I don't have much money. I'm living off of Social Security. What do I get? $10. No, that's too low. I'm trying to get rid of these ads. Windows 11 computer, low to high. Well, I think they took it off. But in there is a very interesting Chromebooks. They're throwing a Chromebook at you, even though you told them Windows 11. See, my Amazon, they want to sell you something. They want to take advantage of your lack of knowledge. So I'm going to go and I'm going to change the Windows 11 to quotations Windows 11. Okay, enter. Okay, now, and if you look carefully, you'll see Windows 11 Stream Laptop. Okay, went up a little bit in price. That is the cheapest Windows 11 computer that a major manufacturer is willing to sell you. Okay, it went up a little bit. The first week that they came out with Windows 11, they were only $200. You can still get them for around $200 on sale. Now, do I recommend this computer? Heck no. It's got the worst possible excuse for a solid state drive. And it's got the smallest possible, 64 gigabyte. And it's got 4 gigs of RAM, which is barely enough for Windows 11. And it has Windows 11 running it on what? A Celeron. Can you believe that? A Celeron. Now, what's going to happen if you buy this computer and you give it to your college student? They're going to run out of space in 2 or 3 weeks after doing some assignments in school. It's also going to be slow. It's going to take them 3 times longer to do anything in this computer than the kid next to them that has a better computer. There's many things wrong with it. But that's by far the cheapest one out there if you absolutely have to have a Windows 11 computer that's approved by Microsoft. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm not going to go into much more detail than that about Windows 11 purchasing. Okay, Okay, now's the good stuff. Forcing Windows 11 to install into a computer. And that's this one. Okay. Now, if you force Windows 11 to install into a computer, eventually Microsoft is threatening to deny you updates. And I told you there's little updates that occur every week, every couple of weeks, and there's those bigger ones that change the build number. Okay. Now, nobody knows what updates they're going to deny you, but they're going to eventually deny you updates. Okay. So that's not a good thing. But let me see. Okay. First and foremost, Microsoft has published on their website, and I'm not going to go into details, a hack that lets you install Windows 11 into any computer that doesn't meet their specifications, but has a version 1.0, the older version of the trusted platform module in it. I don't no idea why they issued it, but it was a godsend for me for my laptop. Okay. I've got a 3-year-old laptop, paid a couple of grand for it, and it has a processor that was designed to run it was an i7, it was designed to run cooler than any other laptop. It's the first laptop I've ever owned that didn't warm up my knees. But it's an i7, but Microsoft said it isn't adequate because it runs too darn cool and not fast enough, and doesn't have enough cache, much other problems. Okay. So that's Microsoft's hack, and it works fine. It's now afterwards, there's 2 hacks that people have discovered. One hack comes out of the Czech Republic, and it works just fine for forcing Windows 11, sir.
It's got a nice name. I see for his website there.
Oh, that's not his website. That's the guy that found the hack. Now, there's a really good, that's this guy, okay? And what else can I tell you about? Okay. Now, there's another hack I found. This is the guy that is over in, that has this hack is from the Czech Republic. And when you that's what he calls himself on English websites. Okay, but his hack works just fine. And I used it to install Windows 11 onto that monstrosity of a computer that I just showed you. Okay, now, if you want, there's another hack that comes from a guy who doesn't want you to know who he is. His name is Avyo, and it's probably translated from the Turkish. This guy writes dozens of utilities to help people install Windows and fix Windows. And one of the ones he's written is on the internet, and he has a funny name for it. And it works just fine. And I've used it a lot too. Okay. So what I'm trying to show you is to make life easier for the world, because no one else has done it, I've written how-to documentation for every one of these hacks. See, so I'm going to show it to you real quick and then find out if you're sick of me. Okay. Cough cookie. Here's this description of how you use this hack. Okay. Cough cookie. All right. And this is the fellow that hangs out in where, I don't know, the Czech Republic. Okay. And if you go to his website and you install his software, you end up with a piece of software called Windows 11 U upgrade _CZ. Windows 11 U upgrade CZ. And if you then download Windows disk image file, you can't use it with Windows upgrade. You end up with a file that's either called windows.iso or windows something something.iso, and you start installing. He will, when you're running his hack, he'll say where the heck is setup inside your Windows something something ISO file. You got to find it for him. He doesn't scan your computer. Then Windows asks you what language you want to be in. Then you click on, well, okay, that's his software will ask you to go for it and find it. And you go and find the Windows 11 upgrade. You got to run his Windows 11 upgrade first, okay? That's inside his software, right? And you got to then look at this. He hasn't translated from the Czechoslovakian. So if you know any Czechoslovakian, you can tell me what that means. If not, just click on that button there and you'll have a good copy of Windows 11, okay? And I don't know what the other button means. So I just trial and error. I clicked on the wrong button the first time. But as you can see, Czechoslovakian is a language of its own, and he's very proud of it.
You also upgrade on there. So you have to have Windows 10 running.
What happens is you have to have Windows 10 to do all of these hacks.
Okay.
If you don't have a legal copy of Windows 10, these people don't want you to create a legal copy of Windows 11. Now the upgrade, you notice that at this point, he realized that a lot of people don't exactly speak Czechoslovakian. So he's picked 3 languages for you to pick from. And you know which one I picked from, right? The top one. The word upgrade in 3 languages is basically what he's got there, I think. I'm not sure. Okay. Then when you're done, you have a good copy of Windows 11 in your computer. Okay. And what happened there? Anyhow, you got a bunch of stuff popping up, okay? You just follow the instructions, and next thing you know, Windows 11 is fine, running fine in your computer, okay? Now that's that guy, okay? It works just fine. I'm going to show you the last one. Then I'm probably going to assume that I'm putting everybody to sleep. I'll probably let you tell some of you, the rest of you talk. Okay, now here's the other hack. It works just fine. I'm not even sure these 2 people got together to create these 2 hacks, these hacks. Probably not. Avio is the Turkish fellow with the Filipino last name, okay? Now, that took me a while to figure out, okay? Okay, now, you go here to Tom's, okay. In case he upgrades it, I'm showing you how you can get a copy of his software. But it turns out that right now, to get it, you can get it from my website right here, okay? And you get it as a zip file and you extract it, right click on it, and you end up with this file called skiptpmcheck.cmd. A CMD is a script file, okay, that Microsoft has invented. So you run that and you double click on it, and I would recommend running it as an administrator. And you go and you get your, before you run it, you have to get your installation media file, right, from Microsoft. You do all that, jump through the hoops, and get Windows something something.iso, right? Then you pick your language, right? And you confirm your language, and away you go. Okay. What else you got to do? you right click on his software and you run as administrator, right? And it starts. Now, at this point, don't hit any key. Ignore it. Just let it run the script run, okay? If you press a key, you might interrupt the script, okay? Then what else happens? I may have added some more screenshots in here I didn't need. Then you go and you start installing Windows. And Windows, no, because that script has run, thinks everything's fine. So what you've done is you've run the first part of the Windows install that would check whether or not your computer is sufficient, in their opinion, to run Windows 11, right? Then you just follow through all this stuff. Now watch out on both of these hacks. It says when installing Windows Server, ignore it. Ignore the word server, okay?
Oh, okay.
And then when you get done, when you're done, you have a nice copy of Windows 11 running in your unhealthy computer, okay?